Okay, not gonna lie, that little slap on the bum by Rhea Ripley at the end to Io Sky was kind of funny. Now, if you're like me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When you're playing games like baseball, you're saying to yourself, dude, don't hit me when I go by, unless. Never mind. But in any event, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Danny Show. I'm your host, Dan Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Before I take this review further in my review on Raw, two things. First and foremost, my deepest condolences to anyone that was affected by the passing of Sabu, one of the greatest ECW legends of all time, passing away on Mother's Day yesterday. So that really stinks. And my condolences again are with the family. And I really appreciate that WWE paid tribute to him as expected. We didn't get a 10 bell salute, but maybe we didn't need to, but I'm glad that they showed respect and remembrance to the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death defying Sabu. Funny story. If you're like me, you grew up back when we were playing SmackDown versus Raw. And I was very fortunate enough to play SmackDown versus Raw 2006. I rented SmackDown versus Raw 2008. No. I rented SmackDown versus Raw 2007 when I turned 14, I believe. And in late 2008, I got SmackDown versus Raw 2008. And I really enjoyed playing the extreme matches at the ECW arena. And one of the things I really enjoyed doing was playing as Sabu because Sabu had a lot of the high flying moves. And so I enjoyed running off the top rope and jumping on all the villains of WWE through the announce table and through a table of its own. I especially enjoyed the part where, after smashing people's heads with guitars and hitting people with flaming 2x4s wrapped in barbed wire, I also enjoyed putting people through flaming tables. So that was also fun. For those of you who played SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, that was some good memories, including AM's conspiracy music. Nonetheless, I forgot who I used to beat up as Sabu. Besides, who did I beat up? I beat up Edge because he was villainous. I beat up Matt Hardy when he turned on his brother Jeff. I beat up on a lot of villains of WWE. But let's talk about tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, where we opened up the show with someone else I used to play on SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, CM Punk. And as of now, fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are new to this channel, I like to call Dominic Mysterio Simp 19 Dom because he betrayed his family over a woman. So I call him Simp 19 Dom because he betrayed his family for Rhea and then turned on Rhea for Liv. And legend has it is going to turn on someone, is going to get someone for and cheat on Liv. Speaking of the Judgment Day, AJ Styles and Finn Balor had a pretty good match, though the Judgment Day tried to ruin it and Penta came in to make the save. With Penta making the save, the AJ Styles versus Finn Balor match continued, and they always do well when they're in the ring together, in my personal opinion. Tonight was no different. Now, in this match, AJ Styles won. Dominic Mysterio Simp 19 did not get his wish. I call him Simp 19 to make fun of the villains. I'm telling you this because we opened up the show with CM Punk talking about being pissed off mostly at himself for trusting Penguin Heyman. And from this moment on, years ago, I called Madcap Moss Magic Mike Moss. Some of you were there for the early part of that. Now I call Dominic Mysterio Simp 19 Dom. As of this moment, I will refer. Now, this time, I have to give credit to CM Punk because all rights are reserved to CM Punk for this inspiration. I did not do any of this. But from now on, I shall call Paul Heyman Penguin Heyman from this moment on. I didn't make this up. CM Punk did. So I don't want to brag and lie. I pride myself on being an honest YouTuber to the best of my ability, and telling lies is not something I like to do. I used to get into a lot of trouble when I did that as a kid. But Penguin Heyman got called out. Seth Rollins came out. By the way, Seth, Chris Tucker from Rush Hour 2 wants his suit back. But in any event, Seth and CM Punk had words. It turned into a brawl with Braun Breaker, and then Sami Zayn made the save, which sets up for Sami Zayn and Punk to go up against Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, who stole Chris Tucker's suit from Rush Hour 2. However, Braun Breaker decides to attack Jey Uso after Jey Uso had a confrontation with Gunter and was very serious, because Gunter is going to learn that this is Jey's place now. Not just Stephanie's place, but Jey's place. Moving forward to other things, Becky Lynch came out and did a remix of Eminem's The Way I Am. You remember that music video where Eminem sounded more angry than he ever was. Becky Lynch came out and gave her promo about, if you say I'm a villain, that's what I'm going to be, basically. Also explaining her actions on why she was a sore loser. Going forth, New Day watched as the Viking Raiders and Alpha Academy went at it together. No, not Alpha Academy. They're known as the Creed Brothers. The Creed Brothers won thanks to New Day. And what the helicopter is Kofi Kingston wearing? Are those Hulk Crocs? Don't know. Moving forward. In other news, I heard that there was something that Cena had went through. Apparently, John Cena had skin cancer and survived it and overcame it. Thankfully, that is a relief. But he encourages people to use sunscreen so that you don't get skin cancer. I'm going to look into more of that. I might have to take some notes. You never know. But in any event, I'm glad that John Cena, even though he's a villain on screen, I'm glad he is doing okay. And we wish him the best. But let's talk about tonight's main event. We had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez and Julia. By the way, if you haven't seen my review on my top 10 favorite matches from Io Sky, be sure to check that out. It was uploaded recently, so it's on the page. Be sure to watch it and tell me what is your favorite Io match. In the meantime, let's go forward. We had a pretty good match between the two tonight. And in the end of the match, it would be Rhea and Io Sky being victorious. Now, I must say it was a good tag match. And in the end, I thought it was real funny when Rhea stared at the championship but showed respect and then hit Io on the backside like fellow players do. But I gotta be honest, if a guy is doing that to me, I'm going to be like, please do not ever. Don't. I hate when I'm playing something like baseball and I high five a guy and he hits me back there. I hate that. Don't do that. Just don't. But with Rhea and Io, it was kind of funny. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm your host, Dan Cody. Fun fact, it was in the very city of Louisville where we got the return of The Undertaker with a new attitude after a grueling Iron Man match with The Rock and Triple H with Shawn Michaels as the referee. A historical moment at Louisville, Kentucky. I might just need to go watch that match right now. But in the meantime, I'm your host, Dan Cody. That's all the time I have for you today, and I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. Peace out. Maybe not tonight, but I will be watching that match another time because that was very enjoyable to watch. But see you next time, folks.